Ukraine continues to conduct operations against trenches where Russian soldiers are stationed. In this footage, recorded with a GoPro camera belonging to a Ukrainian soldier, Ukraine is carrying out an infiltration operation against Russian positions. The operation begins, and the region turns into complete chaos. Despite this unexpected and sudden attack, Russian soldiers also respond. It is clear and visible that the Ukrainian soldiers are quite numerous. Ukraine continues to launch offensive operations despite the risks and high costs. Why do you think they're choosing to strike rather than stay on the defensive? Is it a necessary move to keep pressure on Russian forces? Or is it stretching their resources too thin? In this footage, the opposite is happening. Russian soldiers have blockaded Ukrainian soldiers. Although it is an open area, Ukrainian soldiers are using trees as shelter. The fighting didn't stop during winter. Despite harsh weather, both sides kept pushing through mud, snow, and freezing temperatures. Frontlines shifted slowly, but the intensity never dropped. Do you think the winter fighting gave either side a real advantage, or just more losses with no progress? Ukrainian soldiers are now unable to move anywhere else. The clashes here continue for hours. In such attacks, where neither side can clearly see the other, the thing that ends the conflict is air support. Russian soldiers are carrying out an operation against a building where Ukrainian soldiers are located. It is clear from the movements of the soldiers that these are special military units. According to some people, these images are a lie from Russia. They say there are no Ukrainian soldiers there, but it is clearly obvious that there was return fire. We see a hand reaching out from the stairwell, a Ukrainian soldier surrendering. This time, the GoPro footage is of a Russian soldier trying to shoot down a Ukrainian drone that was following them. He manages to shoot down the drone. Drones make up the biggest part of the war. These small aircraft are now, according to most military strategists, the ones that are changing the wars of the modern century. Footage of a Russian tank hit by a javelin from Ukraine. A javelin operator locks on from distance. Seconds later, the missile launches, arcing upward before diving sharply onto the tank's top armor. The impact is direct. Flames burst from the vehicle as its crew scrambles to escape. These anti-tank systems continue to play a crucial role in neutralizing Russian armor, especially in tight areas where drones and artillery can't respond quickly. Ukrainian infantry rely on them to level the field against heavier armored threats. American-made armored vehicle, Bradley opens intense fire on Russian positions. Bradley fighting vehicles, provided by the United States, are playing a key role on the battlefield in Ukraine. Ukrainian forces use them to move infantry safely across exposed areas, especially in zones under heavy fire. The Bradleys offer strong protection, modern targeting systems, and high mobility. Their 25mm cannons and Tau missiles are actively engaging Russian positions, light vehicles, and even fortified bunkers. Troops rely on these vehicles not just for fire support, but also for quick repositioning during assaults. On the front lines, Bradleys are constantly seen advancing alongside infantry and drones. They help push into contested areas, absorb enemy fire, and return accurate shots from a distance. Crews operate them confidently, using the vehicle's sensors to detect threats before coming into range. Their presence forces Russian units to adjust their tactics. When a Bradley is spotted, defensive positions shift, and artillery is often redirected. On the Ukrainian side, morale improves when these modern vehicles appear near active combat zones. Heavy fighting continues along multiple sectors of the front, particularly near Bakhmut and Avdiivka, where Russian forces are pushing to regain lost ground. Ukrainian troops are holding defensive lines, but face increasing pressure from constant artillery and drone attacks. At the same time, Ukraine is dealing with growing logistical challenges. Delays in Western aid, shortages of ammunition, and the wear and tear on equipment after months of continuous fighting are all taking a toll. Commanders report difficulties in rotating units, supplying frontline troops, and maintaining critical systems under battlefield conditions. Russian forces remain active across multiple fronts, particularly in the east and south, where they continue to launch assaults in small tactical groups backed by artillery and drone reconnaissance. Their goal is to exhaust Ukrainian defenses and gradually gain ground, especially around key locations like Avdiivka, Kreminna, and the southern flanks of Zaporozhye. However, Russia has faced major setbacks throughout the war. Poor coordination, outdated logistic systems, and internal command struggles have slowed their progress. During the winter months, Russian losses increased sharply. Ukrainian sources estimate that thousands of soldiers were lost in failed offensives through muddy terrain and freezing temperatures. Many of these winter assaults resulted in little to no territorial gain, but caused massive casualties, particularly among newly mobilized troops with minimal training. Despite these challenges, Russian forces continue to adapt, relying more on drone warfare, electronic jamming, and mass artillery fire. But the cost remains high, and morale within some units reportedly continues to decline.